Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to bridge two fascinating worlds: the vibrant, breathing, natural heritage of India and the foundational, highly structured laws that actually govern it. It's a journey that takes us from the depths of wild rivers right straight into the halls of Parliament. Let's get right into it. Here's the game plan for today: India's natural heritage, symbols of a nation, the need for rules, framing the Constitution, and finally, our rights and duties. Section 1. India's natural heritage, the flora and fauna of a diverse land. Before a nation is defined by its rulebooks, it's really defined by its land. Picture yourself standing by the banks of the Ganges River. Did you know it stretches a massive 2,525 kilometers? Down in those waters, you might find an incredible aquatic mammal, the river dolphin. It has this long snout, and because it's essentially blind, it actually navigates and catches its prey using ultrasound waves, kind of like a bat. And if you're incredibly lucky, up on the riverbanks, you might just spot a tiger. India actually holds 70% of the entire world's tiger population, even though they're notoriously shy. This totally vibrant ecosystem, that is the living, breathing spirit of the country. Over the decades, the government has officially stepped up to recognize several of these species as representatives of the nation's natural wealth. Take the lotus and the mango, both adopted way back in 1950. And speaking of mangoes, these forests hide incredibly rare varieties, like the Imam Pasand, which was literally cultivated during the Mughal reign specifically for the royal family. Then you've got the peacock, adopted in 1963, which carries this rich cultural history. There's actually a wonderful story from the classical Sangam age where a chieftain named Begin saw a peacock dancing in the rain. He wondered if it was shivering from the cold and generously covered it with his own shawl. From the tiger in '73 all the way to the river dolphin in 2010, every single one of these symbols reflects a deep commitment to preserving that natural heritage. Moving on to Section 2, Symbols of a Nation, Flags, Emblems, and Bacteria? Obviously, moving beyond the forests and rivers, the country formalized its sovereign identity through some very specific official symbols. You'll definitely recognize the iconic tricolor flag. This was actually designed by a man named Pingali Venkaya from Andhra Pradesh, and there's a strict rule about it. Its length to width proportion has to be exactly 3:2. Beside that, we have the national emblem, adopted on January 26, 1950. It features 4 lions standing back to back, a design taken straight from the ancient Ashoka pillar at Sarnath. And right below those lions is an inscription boldly declaring Satya Meva Jayate, which simply translates to "truth alone triumphs." These are the absolute visual bedrock of India's sovereign identity. But hey, in a really surprising twist, it's not all just lions and flags. In 2012, India actually adopted a national microorganism. No joke. It's called Lactobacillus delbrueckii. It's a completely friendly bacteria. Now, why on earth this specific bacteria, right? Well, because it's the exact microorganism responsible for curdling milk to create curd. That's a cooling, easily digestible staple that is consumed literally every single day across the nation. I think this brilliantly illustrates how a national symbol can be as grand and majestic as a tiger, or as microscopic, yet vitally important, as the bacteria helping make your daily lunch. Section 3. The need for rules, and why rights must be balanced. So, we've got this vast, vibrant land filled with all these diverse natural and cultural symbols. The next logical question is, how exactly do you govern a nation brimming with that much incredible diversity? Let's break it down with a simple, everyday example. Imagine 2 brothers, Sudar and Yaj. Sudar wants to watch his absolute favorite cartoon and crank the volume all the way up. Yaj, on the other hand, has a massive test tomorrow and needs absolute quiet to study. Now, both brothers technically have equal rights in their own home, right? Sudar has the right to enjoy his movie, and Yaj has the right to study. But the crucial takeaway here is that one person's freedom cannot completely run over another's. They have to compromise. Maybe Sudar lowers the volume or watches it later, just so both can coexist peacefully. Just like that household requires compromise so the 2 brothers aren't at each other's throats all the time, a vast country requires an ultimate set of guidelines. Think about the scale of it. You've got a country with people following entirely different religions, speaking completely different languages, practicing diverse cultures. To treat everyone equally and just keep society functioning smoothly, you desperately need a supreme rulebook. This authentic, foundational document, the one containing the basic ideas, principles, and laws of the country, is what we call a constitution. Section 4. Framing the Constitution, the monumental task of governance. Creating this ultimate law book, yeah, that was no small feat. It was a monumental undertaking that brought together brilliant minds from every corner of the nation. The journey kicked off in 1946. Nearly 389 constituent assembly members, including 15 women, by the way, gathered to frame the Constitution. They formed a specific drafting committee, chaired by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who is widely considered the chief architect of the document. And they didn't just guess what rules might work. They did their homework. They thoroughly examined the constitutions of nearly 60 other countries, places like the UK, the USA, and France, cherry-picking the absolute best features from each. Before that final draft was accepted in 1949, they made nearly 2,000 amendments. Talk about a massive group project. All in all, this incredible, grueling process took exactly 2 years, 11 months, and 17 days to complete. It cost approximately 64 lakhs. But the end result was staggering. A document that opened with a powerful preamble, officially declaring India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic republic. Most importantly, it ensured that the ultimate power rested right where it belongs, with the people who would elect their own representatives to a parliamentary government. Section 5. Our rights and duties, the two sides of the democratic coin. Now, this massive legal framework didn't just outline how the parliament should work, it actively guaranteed fundamental protections for every single citizen. It acts like a shield. The Constitution establishes 6 fundamental rights. These are the basic, non-negotiable human rights of all citizens. They ensure equality, freedom, and protection against exploitation. They guarantee the freedom to practice any religion because the country itself is secular and holds all religions at the exact same status. It protects cultural and educational rights, and it established universal adult franchise, meaning every single Indian citizen gets the right to vote upon turning 18, regardless of their gender, their wealth, or their background. But hold on, let's think back for a second to the story of those two brothers, Sudar and Yaj. That story taught us that just claiming your rights is really only half the equation. A healthy, actually functioning society demands responsibility too. So, right alongside those fundamental rights, every citizen also has fundamental duties. So what are these duties? Well, they actually bring our entire explainer full circle today. The Constitution explicitly calls on citizens to respect the national flag and anthem we talked about earlier. It demands that citizens treat everyone else as brothers and sisters, totally transcending language and religion. And beautifully, it specifically includes the duty to conserve the natural elements, the forests, the rivers, the flora and fauna that make up the breathtaking natural heritage we explored at the very start. It also tasks parents and guardians with stepping up to provide educational opportunities to children between 6 and 14 years old. Knowing that your fundamental rights are so fiercely protected by this meticulously crafted constitution, the real question is left entirely up to you. Are you stepping up to fulfill your duties? Are you protecting India's wild spirit, conserving its nature, and treating its diverse people with the exact respect that the law envisions? It's a powerful, necessary balance of rights and responsibilities. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this leaves you with a brand new perspective on both the spirit and the law that shape the nation.